All right, everybody, it's yoga time. So, sun salutation sequence is a great way to warm up for your yoga practice. We're gonna do about 5 sun salutation A's, increasing in difficulty, and then we'll do some sun salutation B's, which incorporate the chair and warrior one. If you think that the sun salutations are getting too hard for you, just keep repeating the easy one over and over again. And if you know what the difficult parts are, like hopping instead of stepping, and you want to do them right from the start, you can do that too. You pick whatever version's right for you, and have a great time. Good practice. Step to the front of your mat, big toes together, heels slightly apart. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Allow your palms to face forward, crown of the head reaching tall, eyes closed, and breathe through your nose. Feel stable in your mountain pose, Tadasana. And prepare yourself for your warm-up. Here we go. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward and down. Inhale, slide the shins, hands up the shins, flat back, look ahead. And exhale, fold down. You can bend your knees if you want to. Place your hands either side of your mat and step back into a plank position. Lower down to the ground, first the knees, and the chest, and the forehead. Here we go to baby cobra. Inhale, chest and hands off the mat. Exhale, push into the mat. Go into your knees first, then tuck your toes, and bring your hips up and back to go to downward facing dog. You're gonna spend about 5 breaths time here in downward facing dog. So your hips should be up and back. You should feel your chest pushing through your shoulders. So push your shoulders back. Your gaze should be aimed at your knees or the floor, not between your hands. Not until it's time to get out of the pose. It's just about that time. Inhale, look between your hands. And exhale, step forward. If you don't get there in one big step, you can take a bunch of little steps. It's not important. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Inhale, all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, arms by your side. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into a plank, and lower down to the ground. Option to go without putting the knees down this time. Inhale, baby cobra, chest and hands off the mat. And exhale, push down into the mat. Go to your knees, tuck your toes, and then downward facing dog. In downward dog, you can imagine trying to get your hips up to the ceiling. Maybe you imagine there's something pulling on your hips. Up, 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 try to get up high, and then lowering your heels to the ground. You can bend your knees if you need to, if that helps you keep your back flat. It's better to have your knees bent and your back flat than your back bent and your legs straight. So prioritize the back. The back comes first. So bend those knees. We'll work eventually on straightening them out. Inhale, look between your hands. And exhale, step forward. Many little steps are acceptable. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, down. Inhale, all the way. And exhale, arms by your side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward and down. Inhale, halfway up, flat back, look forward. Exhale, plant the hands, bend the knees if you need to. And this time, option to hop back into your plank. And then lower down to the ground. Inhale, baby cobra. And if you want, you can push into the ground to come up into cobra, coming up a bit higher. Exhale, go to your downward facing dog. Now as you're in downward dog, you got the option to get a little bit of a stretch in the back of your calves. You can pedal one heel to the ground and then the other heel. This is accomplished by bending one knee and then the other knee. Sort of feels nice. I like it. Now inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, step or hop to the front. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Inhale, all the way up. And exhale, arms by your side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, step or hop back. Lower to the ground. Keep your elbows close to your body and move your shoulders forward as you lower down. Inhale, come to upward facing dog. So an upward facing dog, only my hands and feet stay in contact with the ground. My legs are activated, and I'm in my back extension. And exhale to downward facing dog. When you're in down dog, try to push through the knuckle of your index finger. Push into your arms. Keep your arms active. Don't just sort of be lazy with those arms. Be active with your shoulders, active with your hips, and then let your heels melt towards the ground. One more breath. And inhale, look between your hands. Step or hop forward. Inhale halfway up. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, arms by your side. The last sun salutation A. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back, and lower down to the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Inhale, look between your hands. And exhale, step or hop forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Inhale, all the way up. And exhale, arms by your side. Now we're going to move on to our sun salutation B. That incorporates the chair and warrior 1. Here we go. Inhale to the chair. Bend your knees, hips back a little bit. Inhale, arms up. Chair. Exhale, hinge the hips forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, hands on the ground, step or hop back into your plank, lower through your vinyasa flow. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Now turn one of your feet place it at a 45-degree angle, so your toes are not pointing forward or out to the side, but at a 45-degree angle, and step the other foot forward. You might step it all the way in front of your mat, maybe halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way. You'll figure out the right distance for you. And then inhale up into warrior 1. Exhale, arms down, step back into plank, and go through your flow. Down, inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Other side. Step your foot on the ground, toes point out at a 45-degree angle, and the leg comes up to get your warrior 1 stance. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Step back into your plank and go through your flow. Now you always have the option of putting your knees down and doing baby cobra, and then going to upward dog through your knees. Always an option. Now after our 2 warriors, we get 5 beautiful breaths. Chilling in down dog. You should feel a little stretch and opening in the shoulders as well as in the backs of the legs. Depends on where you have more tension. Maybe your shoulders are really flexible, but not so much your legs, not so much your hamstrings, not so much your calves. Then that's where you're going to feel it. But maybe it's the opposite. Maybe your shoulders are really tight, but your legs don't feel the stretch at all. Everybody's different, and that's okay. Inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, step or hop forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, down. Inhale, chair. Bend the knees, hips back, arms up. And exhale, come into standing. Let's go through that again. Inhale to chair. Exhale, hinge the hips forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, step or hop back. Lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step one foot to point the toes out at 45-degree angle. Other leg forward. Inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, down. Step back, lower. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step the other foot out, toes at a 45, foot forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Step back, lower. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And take some time. Breathe it out. In downward facing dog, your hands should be about shoulder width apart, and your hips should be about, your feet should be about hip width apart. So you can take a little peek at your hands and see, are they about shoulder width apart? And you can test that when you're lying down on the mat, and your feet should be about hip width apart. So not too wide and not together. You find the right distance for you, and then keep your hips in the right spot. Inhale, look to the front of your mat. Exhale, step or hop forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Inhale, chair. Bend down, arms up. And exhale, find yourself back in mountain pose. Close your eyes. Focus on your breath. And feel the difference compared to your mountain pose at the beginning, before you did your sun salutations. You should feel a bit of heat in your body, maybe your breathing has changed a bit, maybe become a bit more rapid, and you're ready to move on to your yoga sequence. Happy practicing, everybody.